It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
Giants coming off of a big win over the rival Eagles. Was it a big enough win to make everybody believe in the G-Men again? We go down to 98.7 ESPN in the city, and former Cap Region reporter Andrew Brill joins us. He is a Giants reporter for them and co-host of ESPN New York Tonight. Drew Brill, my friend, is that win good enough to make you believe in the Giants over the Eagles and maybe even catching the Cowboys?
Well, it gives you a very good chance in the division. You know, you have 3 winnable games coming up. That was a big one. That was a big divisional game. The Giants were up for it. It was at home. They really needed that win, after winning 2 in a row, coming off the bye. I think it does give you a lot of hope because Dallas, of course, with their record and the Giants just 2 games behind, look, if they can find a team, if the Giants can take care of their business with the Bengals, Bears, and Browns coming up the next, then they have the Steelers. They can take care of their business and find somebody to just knock off Dallas 1 game, and they can beat Dallas. Giants have the tiebreaker. So, yeah, you definitely have to believe. I think it was a big win, and they have to take care of the next 3 games.
So I'm reading today that there's a chance, with the new rules, you can bring back 1 player from IR, and the timing could work out where a guy like Shane Vereen could rejoin the team. Have you heard anything about that? Have you seen anything with his rehab that could give us hope in that avenue?
I have seen Shane Vereen in the weight room, and that's the extent of what I've seen from Shane Vereen. I have not heard that. Is it a possibility? I wouldn't rule anything out with that guy. He is tough as nails, and just talking to him, I know he wants to come back. When he had the injury, the door was left open where he might be ready to come back, maybe after Thanksgiving, early December. So is that a possibility? Sure. We may know a little bit more tomorrow when we get back into the Giants facility. It's a Monday night game, so really their Wednesday is on Thursday. So everything's pushed back a day for them. So maybe that's a good question to try and find out tomorrow.
We're hearing some moves on the depth chart now. Paul Perkins jumps up to the second back on the depth chart. Will Tye, now the number 1 tight end. Larry Donnell, number 2. Are we going to hit a point here, maybe even this week, where we start to see Perkins out-touch Rashad Jennings going forward this season?
It would not surprise me at all. And right after the bye week, Ben McAdoo said that he was going to try and get everyone some playing time. All 46 that get a suit, he wanted to get them on the field and try them out because he felt that would keep guys fresher. Look, Rashad Jennings and Paul Perkins matched touches. They both had 11 touches last week, and Perkins outgained him on the ground. Perkins also had 3 catches. So I think that the Giants, because their running game is so inept at this point, they're going to try anything. And if Paul Perkins gives them a spark, don't be surprised if you see a much bigger dose of Paul Perkins than you do of Rashad Jennings, for sure.
Andrew Brill with us right now. Of course, you probably remember him from when he was in the Cap region, now down at 98.7, ESPN 98.7 in the city, does a lot of Giants reporting. So you mentioned McAdoo, and we've been having fun at Belichick Suspense all show with the whole Seattle thing. Is McAdoo, like, when he goes out and says stats are for losers and stuff like that, how's his routine, how's his act wearing, for you guys who cover him all the time?
He's a walking cliche. You could almost write his answers. As a matter of fact, somebody asked him post game, how does it feel that be able to close out games this year to last year? That's last year. We've moved on. It's very. You could almost write the answers to the questions that he's going to give you because he's that's the kind of guy he is. He's looking to next week. He's not going to really spend a lot of time other than one day going over last week's game film, and away he goes. And that's the way Ben McAdoo is. And, look, it's working so far.
We know Ben McAdoo is the guy who runs the show there. He's the head coach. But one of the questions we still have about this Giants team is, who is the player in the locker room that's the leader? It's been a question all year. Do you think there's a lack of leadership when it comes to Big Blue this season?
Oh, absolutely not. I think you look at Jonathan Casillas. He's one of the captains. He's a big-time leader. They had a leader in Antrell Roll who just announced his retirement. Jonathan Casillas has really, when they named him a captain, he really took that to heart. He's a big-time leader in that locker room. JPP is a big-time leader in that locker room. They have plenty of leaders. And Eli, although you don't really see that side of him. He's the biggest joker in that locker room, but when it comes down to it, he will get on someone's case if he doesn't think they're doing their job. But they have plenty of leaders in that locker room, plenty of guys that will make sure that you're doing your job. So I don't think that they lack leadership. They're a little bit of a young team in terms of, your safeties are young. Some of your guys, they have some young players, and Ben McAdoo's trying to get them involved. But as far as leadership, they do have those guys that will get in your grill if they don't think you're doing the right thing, but they don't really have that problem so much.
Drew Brill with us right here on 104.5, the team down at 98.7 ESPN, if you've been missing him after his days on local television. And we had a source we spoke to the other day, and they told us, thought Casillas was a leader. And what we brought up, Drew, is when we were at camp, we saw Olivier Vernon in between drills running laps, and JPP was following him. Is he the guy? Like, is he a guy who just leads by example, and maybe when his play gets a little louder, he'll be a bigger leader?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. That guy does what he does, and it works, and people follow him. You see JPP, absolutely. And that's something he's done his whole career. If once they're done running, if he's got downtime, there is no downtime for Olivier Vernon. He's running on the side. He's working with Spags, trying to work on technique. He's been a little injured. His wrist is kind of banged up, and it's been hard for him to push off and get the kind of leverage he's wanted to get. But as far as he's the quiet leader, he definitely leads by example. That you're absolutely right about that. But you know what? Like the Pied Piper, it's working. People are definitely following.
Monday Night Football, we get Bengals and Giants. Both teams right now trying to jockeying for position in their respective divisions. What can we expect from this matchup?
It's interesting. I think that the Giants' defense will give Andy Dalton a little bit of problem. And I say that, the Giants don't have a ton of sacks, I think a total of 12. But Andy Dalton's been sacked 25 times. Now, when it comes to pressure, you see JPP and Olivier Vernon are near the top in the league in creating quarterback pressure. When you look at the sabermetrics of it all, if you will, quarterback pressures are almost as important as sacks because it gets the quarterback off his spot. It makes him do things he's a little bit uncomfortable doing that quickly. So I think that they'll force Andy Dalton into some things, but the Bengals can run the ball and run the ball pretty well, but the Giants also stop the rush. So I think that defensively the Giants will be all right. And offensively, I really think this is a game the Giants can win. And I think that, they'll have their hands full with the corners from the Bengals, but they also give up a bunch of rushing yards on the ground. So maybe, and I say this very carefully, maybe this is a game where the Giants could be able to run the ball a little bit.
That would be a nice thing to see for once for Big Blue fans. Andrew Brill, you can follow him on Twitter at Andrew F. Brill, and of course he's on 98.7 now. But when we put you on the run today, that we were going to get a chance to talk to you, producer Matt Woods goes.
Matt Woods, sure, yeah. My intern way back when.
Yeah, he breaks out is that the Drew Brill? How does it feel to know that the Cap Region still loves and misses you?
I appreciate it. I really do. I still talk to a lot of people up there, and I really appreciate the following, and I loved my time there, and I do miss it. I miss you guys, and I miss being up there.
Well, if it's all right with you, we'll make you miss it less and pick your brain whenever we get a chance.
You got it. Anytime you guys want, just give me a buzz and we'll talk.
Drew, we appreciate you, my friend. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.